How's it going, everybody? Jeff Slakey with KMAS and continuing my conversations around the different school districts in Mason County. I'm in North Mason School District right now, talking to Dana Rosenbach. 10 years now you've been doing this.
This is my 10th year, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a wonderful community to be a part of for so long.
It really has grown over the years, and I think leading into this being your 10th year, that's where I kind of want to start. You've seen here in the Belfair area, and your pool of students has really increased over these last couple months and year. They've added a lot of new housing here.
They really have, and we expect a lot more growth. So we are up to almost 2,300 students this year, although we always find that our September count is a little low and our October count is usually much higher.
Okay.
So we're expecting to surpass that number, which would meet our projections. But because of all the building and housing growth in the community, we've, over the last couple of years, done some demographic reports. And we get a new one at the end of October. They're a 10-year report. And so our last report in 2021 told us that by 2022, by 2032, over a 10-year span, we could expect different for each grade band of school, but on average, almost a 25% increase in enrollment.
Wow.
So a little higher at the high school, actually, than the elementary, but we wanted to confirm that this year with this fall because there is still so much building going on, and a lot of what is happening now or is on the books with Mason County wasn't there or wasn't, recorded anywhere when they did their report. So we want to make sure, is that still the trend we're planning for, or is it a little bit different? And interestingly, we did our first report in 2017, and we had a specific trajectory, which looked kind of similar to the one we have now, but then COVID happened. So we were on this line, and then we had this COVID drop, and then we were back on the same trajectory. So last year, we got back to our pre-COVID enrollment level and kind of started the same line again, but from where we left off. So it's very interesting to watch that and look at the enrollment and different kinds of kids coming into school.
What are some of the overall big goals that you are looking ahead to this school year as we get things underway? And I'm sure you had to add new teachers as you get going too. What are some of the ways here?
Yeah, we have about 20 new teaching or counseling staff members in the district, a little bit of attrition, but some new positions as well. But I have a lot of transition in my district office in my leadership team. So over the last 3 years, my whole cabinet retired. And with that in place, I started looking at our data, talking to our community, our schools, kids, and kind of wanting to make sure that as we brought new people in, we were really targeting the needs of our community and our district. So we reorganized that. We reorganized the positions. I have 3 new people in place. And with the addition of the final person this summer, we were able to really take a hard look at our data. And we've looked at our data for years. And like every district, we've written goals and we've worked hard to achieve, and we have really great staff and we have the right tools in place, and we haven't seen what we needed to see. And we've looked at a lot of those barriers, and we're addressing those barriers by doing stronger early childhood education, for example, and multi-tiered systems of support for kids in buildings. But still, we're not quite there. We're seeing growth, but we're not seeing the kind of growth we need to be because of where our kids start out when they get here. But then we kind of had an epiphany as a team. We were looking at everything, and we were talking about history, and we were talking about what other districts do. And we said, the problem with writing goals the way most districts write goals is we write goals that a certain percentage of kids are going to achieve X by the end of the year. But what about the kids who aren't in that percentage?
Right.
And then we started asking ourselves, so who's going to identify if we set a goal for 80%, who that 20% is that aren't going to achieve? And who's going to be responsible to talk to their families about why we didn't get that done for them?
Yeah.
And so when you start to put it in that perspective, you go, we can't think that way. And it's really ambitious to think in terms of 100%. And we know that for all our goals, we're not going to be at 100% in 1 year, but we can plan backwards from that. So our goals now in the district are all written in terms of what 100% means. And so in attendance, that means 100% of kids will attend school at least 92% of the time. And that means in graduation, we are going to get to 100% graduation. And because we recognize some of the unique needs of our community, and we have a lot of newcomers who might be new to public education of any kind when they come to the United States. So starting in ninth grade and getting 13 years done in 4 years is pretty ambitious. So we have our graduation goal is 100% graduation, 85% minimum on time, because of that unique demographic that we have. We have goals for the state has a requirement for third grade reading on grade level. And so our goal there is at the end of third grade, 100% of third graders will be reading on grade level. And that's ambitious because we know that kids entering our district right now are only 30% of kids coming into kindergarten have the tools they need to be successful in school.
Wow.
And that's really tied to our preschool opportunities in our community. There's about 30% of our kids get to attend any kind of preschool program, including the programs that we have, which is then, of course, why we've expanded our transition to kindergarten program and looking at different ways. And we really want to continue to look at that and partner with our community to, as a community, how can we ensure that 100% of kids get a preschool opportunity?
Yeah. So how do you go out and either advocate for that within the preschools in the area or the early childhood education in the area, or do you go and talk to the state level, OSPI, and say we need additional funding to help bridge this gap early on? This is where we're seeing a huge potential to help kids as they move through these years.
And I think that's a little bit of all of that. We do need better funding at the state. And frankly, last year there was a kind of a battle at the state level between who's in charge of the transitional kindergarten or transition to kindergarten, as we call it now, this program. Is it DCYF, early learning, or is it OSPI, K-12 education? And we don't really care who's in charge.
Right.
We just want to make sure we can provide programs for our kids. So we are continuing to offer that program under new rules this year. We partner with the ESD 114 in Bremerton to provide Head Start and early Head Start programs for our kids in our community. And we were trying to really focus this year on expanding our partnerships with our local providers, because we have some good, strong local providers, and they have long waiting lists too and don't have room to add. So if we look at how do we add additional programs to support early learning, we do not want to take away business. We do not want to step on the toes of our partners, but we want to build a coalition of how do we all work together to ensure that every kid in North Mason has an opportunity. So it's going to be a long-range project.
Yeah.
And then, we still have goals for middle school the state testing, for high school state testing, all the pieces that go together to get kids to graduation.
What's it like on the first day for you now, 10 years in, and you go and you see the kids smiling?
It's so much fun to go to the buildings and see the kids all excited to come in and see how everything is working, or where we might have to work on some transportation or some parking lots or those kinds of things. But it's so great to see the kids coming to school. A new thing I'm doing this year that I wish I'd been doing this all along, but I'm really excited this year. So I've asked our buildings to put all their teachers' names in a hat or a little basket. And every Friday we select one building to select a teacher, and then I get to go and substitute for that teacher or spend some time in their classroom this year. And so I'm visiting my first classroom. I'm visiting a first grade to help with reading instruction on Thursday, and I'm really looking forward to that opportunity.
Great. And that's a good chance to get and see everybody.
It is, and to see it from the boots on the ground perspective, because even when we go and do walkthroughs in the building, you see stuff.
Sure.
But it's not the same as if you're the one trying to do it, and you're embedded, and you're there, and so we're really looking forward to that.
I know sometimes when the superintendent comes in, things change in the classroom.
Yeah, and this is, and it's only going to be for a portion of a day, once a week somewhere, but it's an opportunity for it to be more real. And if they don't want me to sub, then I will come in and spend an hour hearing what they want me to hear.
Sure.
So I think
Because then
it'll be,
they'll have a whole another week that they'll have to get the kids back in line
oh yeah.
after you're out there.
Well, I
letting
know.
them do
I get
whatever.
to read aloud this week, so I've got a stack of my favorite picture books that I'm bringing with me, and
that's
it's
a
going to
great
be a lot
one.
of fun.
That is so much fun. That's wonderful. Well, it's always good to hear that things are moving along and progressing great in the North Mason School District. There's always opportunities to volunteer, get involved, check out the job boards as well, and there is plenty of things happening in Belfair and throughout all the variety of schools. How many schools now?
We have 6 actually boots on the ground kind of schools, and then online we have HomeLink as well.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to talk with you.
it's good to talk with you.